Hey Aquarius, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Eight of Swords. Knight of Wands, Nine of Wands. For the Knight of Wands within us to function, we have to be connected with our inspiration, our motivation, our bravery. When we have Eight of Swords, it can be our thoughts that get in the way with us connecting with that part of ourselves. And so Knight of Wands is like, I don't need you to be overthinking right now. I just need you to let me do my thing. But Eight of Swords can be a lot of thinking profusely to the point where it sort of barriers action from being taken. And then we have a wall that we sort of need to break through that we have built, and it can be something that becomes more strenuous. It's like instead of just having the room to run around for the Knight of Wands to do its thing, we are simultaneously creating these barriers that give another thing for the Knight of Wands to be doing. The Knight of Wands is that part of us that's going to take control of the situation, to take action, to go for what we want to do, to try our best to jump as high as we possibly can given the situation we're in. This feeling of the Eight of Swords can be coming from, the Eight of Swords is the part of us that's creating these barriers, these blocks mentally that we have to sort of like take apart to be able to move through, okay? And Knight of Wands doesn't like to do that. Knight of Wands is like, I'm tired of you just overthinking. So then we can start feeling restless because Knight of Wands is like, the car started, I got gas in the tank, I want to go, and now you're keeping me stuck here. So there's like that tension that starts building. And we feel like it's being like the gas that we want to use for this is being used for that instead. Like rather than moving forward, we feel like it's like we're stuck and we have to focus it on breaking these walls down. And so this can feel like a misuse of the energy a bit to certain aspects of ourselves. Now we have the Seven of Pentacles here. And so this indicates that this feeling is centered around a process that you are currently working through. This is something that you've been putting your energy into. This is something that you've been contributing to in some way within your life. This can be something that you're currently working on. You can see this as an investment of yours. Something that you're figuring out. It looks like there's a change in wind. Initially, there may have been thoughts of kind of sailing away from something, but now I'm seeing almost like the opposite that's happening. I was seeing just for a flash the Eight of Cups wanting to come out, but then what actually came out was Three of Cups. And so Eight of Cups can be like I may even abandon this, but then having Three of Cups is like, never mind, it's all coming together, like it's okay. But that could have initially been what was going on. There could have been a lot of feelings that came up that were connected with you having put energy in this and now something's going on and the like, what do we do about it then? And then all of those thoughts that come like, was this a waste of my time? Was this a waste of my energy? I should have been doing that instead. Like maybe it's good that I was doing this. It's like all of that stuff where it feels like going into territory that can actually distract you from the present moment. So we see Seven of Pentacles, and the card next to it is Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is the result that we're hoping for when we are doing the process of the Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles, where we're investing in something, we're contributing to it, we're putting that energy in, and we hope, the hope is that it cultivates whatever we're doing and produces the Ten of Pentacles. So having these next to each other, it feels like I put in energy and successfully it produced what I wanted it to produce. And here it is, and I have something to show for it, because that Ten of Pentacles is like when that materializes. All of this work and effort that I put in, now I have the product, which is the Ten of Pentacles. And then we also have Three of Cups too. So this can be something where there's actually quite a profound support for this. There can be support for it, celebration for it, recognition for it. There can be love sort of coming together. It can feel like a coming together of some sort. Wasn't easy to make this happen though, but you were determined. And there could have actually been a, like, not knowing if that was gonna happen. Let's talk about how else this can be. This can be a reconciling that's happening too. This can be a reconnecting that's happening. It was not easy, but it has happened. They could have taken a mass amount of effort, and here you are with the result of that. And so this feels like a feel-good thing that is connected with this. It's not just that, like, here I have the finished product and it looks good, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. This is there being an emotional connection to that, like a tethering to that as well. But you may not have known if this was going to happen or not. That could have been up for question. And so, yeah, you could have been like, I put this energy into this, what's going to happen with it? Because Eight of Swords is feeling kind of like a worry to me of, did I put all my energy into this and now it's like, what's going to happen with it? But then having Knight of Wands feels like you're brave and you stick with this and you see it through, and now look at how you have gotten it to produce what you wanted it to produce, all by putting in this effort to bring things together. And here you have it. So it just feels like there it is. And this can be one of those times too where you can be, this process that you're in the middle of, like this picture that you're painting, it can be a time when it feels like there are lots of challenges that come up that could possibly have you like give up on it. But then what I'm seeing is that Knight of Wands is that part of you that's like, no, I'm determined. This is what I want. This is what I'm gonna do. And then it feels like the painting is finished and you're like, wow, look at this. So I see something that you could have started questioning things like, has this even been worth it to me? It feels like a moment where things become like really existential, where you're like, is it gonna come together in the end? Am I just wasting my time and my paints? Should I maybe switch to something else here? And it feels like sticking with it and not giving up, because Knight of Wands is not going to give up. Knight of Wands, if anybody is going to see something through, Knight of Wands is like, I have to give it my best shot. I have to give it my best effort and see, because maybe it can be possible. Like Knight of Wands is really that hopeful, like I'm determined, I'm going to see what can happen. I'm not going to give up. It's that the life force and the inspiration within us. And then you see that it ends up paying off and everything does come together. What I don't understand though is why we have Two of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Because that feels kind of like a lack of resolution to me, slightly. I get the sense that something isn't fully worked through yet. Like something hasn't been smoothed out yet. Maybe you feel like a process isn't fully complete at this point. Maybe something hasn't like totally come together yet. If that is the case, I'm seeing it be on the precipice. So yeah, maybe you just don't see it yet. Maybe that's what Two of Swords is about. I feel like there's more to it though. This can be something actually that you're still thinking about. Still thinking about. Something that hasn't been fully straightened out yet. Like there can still be some discord. I'm seeing this almost like I'm seeing what the result is going to be, but I wonder for some of you if you haven't actually seen that happen yet. So I'm seeing what happens, but you may not be in that position yet to see. There may be a chat that you have to have with someone. Feels like something that's still being worked out, where there's still stuff that has to be expressed. Maybe you feel like you come back together, but there's still more stuff that needs to be worked out here. Maybe committing to that. Say, to working together. Okay. So it's like everybody's on board, like we're gonna work together, but it can feel like what's being worked on still hasn't been like fully accomplished yet here. If it's worth it to you, it will be though. This can be to getting things to where they need to be in order to work with them as well. For things to feel like they stabilize and then can remain like that and be benefited from. The hardest part can be working together. Yeah, it's weird. I kind of get this thing of, like, when we see Three of Cups, it can feel like, wow, things are coming together, and so it almost feels like something has happened where there can be this feeling of resolution, but what I'm seeing is that it hasn't, there's not a full resolution here. This is something that's still being worked out. I don't think it's going to take too long to do though. I'm seeing with communication, cooperation, willingness, 8 of Wands, so things are going to move forward. And move forward without their, meaning that this will be taken care of. I do see this concern of things not working out, but I'm not really, this feels more like a concern and less of a reality. And I also see something going from like fear and sadness to almost like surprise and understanding. Some of you, there can even be a feeling of remorse involved. I don't know why, but this one character that I'm seeing, it reminds me of when somebody does something where they act out and then like the energy has been acted out and then they're kind of like sitting there not feeling good, like what's going to be happening. And then somebody's like, come on, the story continues. And the person is like, I think surprised by that. Like, oh, it still continues for me. I kind of get that feeling from this. So this can be that energy of remorse kind of that I'm getting from this card, where if somebody does something that they see as like not being a true reflection of like their core, but it was still them that acted that out, and they can feel like something's going to happen to them because of that, like whatever the consequences will be. And then this feels like, well, the story continues. And so it's like, come on, we have to do the rest of the story now. Like, it doesn't end here. And the character is like, oh, like I thought that was going to be it for me, but it's not. I kind of get that. And so then it's like not feeling great, but knowing that the story goes on and that it can only get better from here. That's the vibe that I get from this. And that's what happens when we move forward. But I definitely get this like revival of some sort, where I really feel like this Nine of Swords feels really genuine. The way that this character was like, maybe thought that they like ruined everything or something, or that like they just, whatever it was, that was like the last straw, but then I'm not actually getting that be it. It's like maybe even feeling like being at rock bottom, and then recognizing that the story doesn't end there. It actually continues from there, and it can only get better from there. And being surprised, but being like, oh, okay, like kind of like that. Because it's like they didn't really want the story to end, and it feels like just something needed to be expressed, and maybe that was how they knew how to express it, but it's not being like held against them in a way where they're being taken out of the story completely. It feels like it keeps going. And there can actually be this allowing for further insight to be gained, so something like this doesn't have to repeat again. So it feels like there's also a learning that's taking place. Also too, when I'm looking at the Nine of Wands, I'm seeing somebody look almost like they're in their PJ set, like a matching top and bottom. And so I wonder too if this is, when I think of PJs, I think of like a Piscean energy. I think of doing things like in the unconscious realm, like sleep, psychology, those things that come to mind. And so it feels like maybe in somebody's own like inner landscape, there's some type of work that they have been doing here that's like internal, and so they know that they've been putting in the work internally, but it may show less externally as this is happening. Like this can be somebody going through a really big internal battle, but you don't see them really break much of a sweat externally, but they really have been on an internal level. All to secure what one is trying to secure within one's life. And I do feel like there's stability desired here. And it feels like stability within connection too, where there is a sense of understanding and things actually being resolved, and moving to that place of, I'm going in a direction, maybe didn't think that I would make it this far, and now again, like that whole storyline about the person being like, I thought that that was it for me, like once I did that the story was over, but then it's like not over at all. There's just, we start part 2 now. That's what this feels like to me. And that's what working through things allows to happen. Like the show actually does go on from here. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.